This week.
From the time I was born, through all of my days.
It's a little surreal that we're no longer anticipating the release of PSVR2 like we have been for the last 2 years or more. Our new headset is finally here and it looks and plays great. The only problem, of course, is that we're drowning in launch games and PSVR1 remasters, and I've got to say that almost all of them have been impressive in some way or another. And if you're waiting for reviews from Without Parole on the headset or the games, stay tuned. I'm doing my best to take my time and actually enjoy this moment. But at the same time, I'm also excited to share my thoughts and reviews on each and every game. And my first review should be coming very soon.
Every step that I take.
Alright, so we don't have any game reviews out yet, but I do want to share my thoughts on the big 3 launch games. Gran Turismo 7 has to be seen to be believed. When that game switches from flat screen over to VR mode, it's simply stunning. As for Horizon Call of the Mountain, you might have heard that it's mid or has too much climbing, and well, yeah, it does have a ton of climbing, but if you go in knowing that, you'll have an absolute blast. I'm closing in on the 8-hour mark and still haven't finished the campaign, or even begun the challenge modes. And then of course there's Village, the game I've been waiting to play for literally years now, and it doesn't disappoint. And strangely, it demonstrates the graphical fidelity, adaptive triggers, and headset haptics better than either of the first-party PSVR2 games.
They're coming. Who is?
A new post on the PlayStation blog went up last week revealing some new PSVR2 games, and there's definitely quite a few surprises in here. I will say it's a little strange to see games like Star Tenders and Runner on this list of 10 new PSVR2 titles, considering we confirmed them forever ago, but whatever. There's still 8 more games to talk about here, so let's start with the PSVR1 remasters. Gorn was already leaked on the German PlayStation blog last week, but at least now we have an official announcement. There's no mention of how much it'll cost, but Free Lives did reveal a release date of March 16th. Swordsman, after months of speculation, is officially a PSVR2 launch game and will be a free upgrade for the first 3 months for players who already own the PSVR1 version, which I personally think is the perfect solution to this whole debate as to whether developers should charge for upgrades or not. Luckily, there are also quite a few actual new PSVR2 games announced today too, so let's take a look. The first one is the successor to A Fisherman's Tale called Another Fisherman's Tale. This one seems to ditch the mechanics of the original in favor of a full-on, first-person adventure where you can detach and control your limbs separate from your body. Quest gamers might be familiar with the next announcement called Nock. It's a multiplayer esport that combines bow and arrow mechanics with soccer. It's pretty physical, and will hopefully fill the void that the absence of spark has left us with. Hellsweeper VR is next on the list, and if you're not excited about this one, well, you should be. It comes to us from the same developer as Sirento and uses a lot of similar movement mechanics, meaning you'll likely be doing a lot of running, jumping, wall runs, backflips, and double jumps as you slay monsters with a ridiculous variety of weapons. Rhythm game Ragnarock got an official announcement today too, and better yet, it's a PSVR2 launch title, so it should be popping up on the store sometime today or tomorrow. It can be played solo or with 5 other players online in real time, so we'll definitely be checking this one out soon. Sushi Ben is a VR narrative adventure that I've been following on Twitter for quite a while now, mostly due to its unique anime-inspired art style, so it's great to see that it's getting an official PSVR2 version. I'm curious to see how it plays though, because at the moment, it kind of seems like a collection of minigames, but who knows, it could be great. The last game in the blog post is yet another surprise launch title called Unplugged Air Guitar. It's another take on the rock band formula, featuring music from Ozzy Osbourne, The Offspring, and Weezer. You can unlock venues, songs, and gear, and includes over 45 rock songs with 4 difficulty modes.
They'll get you killed out there. Remember what we shook on.
This past Thursday, Sony broadcast a new State of Play featuring 4 new PSVR2 games, all coming later this year. The first game they showed off was the Foglands by Well Told Entertainment, which is described as an atmospheric sci-fi western roguelike. If I'm understanding the story correctly here, it seems like you're a part of a community that lives underground, and only a select few called runners head out above ground into the toxic fog to scavenge resources for the rest of the community. And on your first day as a runner, everything goes completely wrong. Now, in all fairness, we already knew that Green Hell was coming to PSVR2 because, well, the developers told everyone sometime early last year. But seeing the official announcement of this brutally difficult survival game from Sony themselves was somehow refreshing, and it was great to see how good the visuals look, touting high-res textures and realistic shadows, all combined to make high-quality, believable environments. Over the years, nDreams has become one of our favorite VR developers, making great titles like kayak stealth game Phantom Covert Ops and cover shooter Fracked. And the same team at nDreams behind those two games are the ones working on PSVR2 exclusive Synapse. The things that immediately stand out here in this trailer are the black and white motif mixed with occasional splashes of color, and the fact that the main character wields traditional weapons in one hand, with telekinesis in the other. The last big reveal of the day comes to us from freediver developer Archiact, who's bringing an Isaac Asimov classic to life with Journey to Foundation. What might look like a traditional first-person shooter on the surface could potentially be much, much more, with the PlayStation blog post going into detail about conversing with other characters, influencing your environment, and giving you the option between stealth and diplomacy, or going in guns blazing.
So, will you fight for a dying empire? Or help us to reach?
Every week, amazing GameCat and friend of the channel Professor Lilith organizes a multiplayer meetup to give some old PSVR1 games some love and attention. It happens every Sunday at 2 p.m. Eastern. And this week, they're playing MMO Zenith, which is actually playable on both PSVR and PSVR2. If you can't make today's meetup, don't worry. It happens every week at the same time, so make sure you click the link in the description below to join our Discord and join us for the next one.
I would rather die fighting than live in fear.
I'm so glad you came out.
It's nice to see you emerge from your apartment, anyway.
Organ Quarter is an homage to the slow, methodical survival horror experience of the 90s, with a focus on what made survival horror great: labyrinthine environments, resource management, and well-balanced puzzles. Organ Quarter is a long-form horror adventure, an experience that plays out over a large area and can take from 5 to 8 hours to complete, with intricately connected levels, gun combat, resources, and tools, all at the player's disposal. From the developer behind VR horror classic Dreadhalls comes Cosmodread. Trapped in a dying spaceship filled with horrors, you must explore, survive, and find your way back to the safety of Earth. Cosmodread features a rich, tense, and immersive atmosphere that'll make you forget about the world outside the headset. Search for resources and find a way home in a procedurally generated space station where you'll never quite know what's behind the next door.
This week